Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, we saw the buyers continue to be in control and ES push to a new all-time high. At this point, heading into the open, the buy side continues to be dominant, and as long as ES can hold above the 0475 to 0675 initial support, it means that the bigger breakout from yesterday is still intact, and from there we can still balance at higher prices and go right back up into the 15.5 to 17.5 initial resistance. Now beyond the overnight high at 16.25, there is no hard resistance, so just keep that idea in mind that the market is establishing fresh reference areas up here, and there is no reference point beyond the overnight high. So if we get a break beyond 15.5 to 17.5, it's really just going to be about how far the range can really expand and how much volatility and volume we're seeing on the day time frame. But as far as the next area where the market would get exhausted, that's going to be up at 27.25 to 29.25. So it's still a pretty decent ways away. And between 15.5 to 17.5 and the next zone, it's really just going to depend on the intraday range. So there's not really any hard reference point beyond that that you can actually lean on. On the downside, ideally, we want to see ES holding above the initial support zone, and if the market is truly strong, then we may not even get a retest of that area. So ideally, we actually hold above the gap at 08.25, the previous VPOC, and beyond that, if we are holding above 12.25, which is yesterday's high, that would signal continued bullishness in the market, and then eventually we can take out the 15.5 to 17.5 area. In the event of a break below initial support, responsive buyers can still be active at the support areas below at 97.75 to 2100, and especially at 93.5 to 95.5 and 91.5. By that point, the market would be quite exhausted, and those are pretty solid areas of support. So on first test, the expectation is for buy side to defend the 93.5 to 95.5 zone and the 91.5 support level. So right now, heading into the open, the short-term bias is bullish. The only red flag in the current view is the lack of upside movement that we've seen, or a lack of really a strong breakout in NQ. So if you're watching NQ, keep an eye on the 45.20 to 45.24 area. As long as NQ is holding above that, buyers can still step into that market, and S&P is the stronger market right now, so it can still lead to the upside. So as long as we're not seeing, a major break in Nasdaq, the buy side can still actually retain control overall, and we can still expect the buyers to be active on first test of, for the most part, every area of support. But how the market responds to the 0475 to 0675 in the S&P is really going to help set the tone for the day. Because if the buyers are to maintain that control and that breakout is to remain intact, then you want to see that zone holding. And like I said, if the market is truly strong, then we may not even go down there, and we might just turn around off of 08.25 or even a little bit ahead of that. So that's something we'll have to see in real time. Now, in order to continue pushing in new highs, we do have to see broad market strength. So participation from the Russell would be good. We want to see sustained upside momentum in order to get a sustained directional move to the upside, especially beyond 15.5 to 17.5. It's going to take some real momentum to push us to another fresh all-time high beyond the overnight high there. And ideally, you want to see Nasdaq attracting buyers as well. If we start seeing, a sell-off in NQ, then it's really going to make it difficult for the S&P to go higher as well. So watching NQ, I think this morning can be helpful. So those are really the main thoughts heading into the open. Overall, bias is going to remain bullish on the larger time frame. Short term, the bias is neutral bullish, which means that the buyers are in control, but we're also aware that the market's trading near all-time highs, so we need to see continued strength in order to press higher. And a lack of strength at initial resistance or beyond 12.25 can be sufficient to result in a pullback into initial support and possibly even lower. So keep an eye on the initial support zone. Let's see how the market responds to the previous VPOC and close at 08 quarter, and we'll take it from there.